This is my entry for this week's DreamSnap, Majesty on Ice. I didn't really have a plan. I just knew I wanted to use the new icy frozen palace and a bunch of icy or crystal themed items. So I grabbed the palace and debated the other winter themed houses. Considered using the Frosty Fortress for the frozen mountain vibe, but I wasn't sure, so I added it in the back. Considered the new Arendelle Castle walls, but they didn't feel right, as I wanted a more magical winter vibe than a frozen city vibe. Grabbed the small blue display pillar and put 2 by the palace, figuring I could add more later. Added on a statue, and some enchanted ice fountains. Added some icy looking pillars. Considered the icy fountain, but it didn't feel right since the water was frozen in the other fountains. Getting a better angle, trying to even things out. Considered Kristoff's sled, but it didn't feel quite right, so I put it in the back for now. Considered adding some icy river kit, but putting ice on ice doesn't really do much. And I liked the idea of using the icy mountain river waterfall in the foreground to frame my shot, so I added 2. Getting a better angle, adding more crystals. It was starting to feel like things were a little too squished together, so I scooted everything back a bit. Getting a better angle, adjusting placements, added more frozen waterfalls in the back, scattering in some spindly winter holiday trees, and some winter holiday bushes. Adding some tall winter holiday trees. Why are they shorter than the spindly ones? Adding a couple snow angels. I wanted to add a path leading from the palace to the front of the shot, so I decided to try adding some flagstone doormats, and doubled it up to make a circle. Bringing the mountain a line, adding the other half, scooting in a statue so I can finish the path, scattering in more crystals, and added the luxury snowflake rug to add a little texture under the fountains. Adding a bunch of lampposts with blue light to create a glow and fill in the empty spots. Plus, I thought the blue glow would add to the chilly vibe. I liked the festive blue star, so I put it by the palace. Scooting things around to line it up better. And I liked the blue fire from the underworld torch stand, so I added them behind the stars to hide the metal part. Adding the ancient blue lampposts, as I liked the idea of the blue orb, but I only have 2, so scooting 1 over. And adding a bunch of blue butterflies, and some fireflies. Dropping some items I thought would be fun to add. Started adding some snowballs, but realized I needed to move the items to a better spot if I wanted to copy them. So, scooting them out of the way, now adding the snowballs, and scattering a bunch around. Adding a bunch of ice. Adding the Woody and Buzz ice sculptures, as I like the idea of having more ice sculptures. Scattering in some blue fiddleheads, as I liked that they matched and thought they helped a little bit with the magic vibe. Adding some landings ombre shrubs, scattered in a bunch around to help fill in the empty spots. Adding the Forgotten Lands fern. I was a little worried it didn't match, but thought it looked cool, so I added it. I liked the icy alpine trees, so I scattered them in where I could. Scooting some things to get a couple in the foreground. Considered adding the white blossom tree, but didn't think the white really added anything. And I liked the blue fairy tale tree, and thought it matched the fiddleheads, so scattered in a bunch. Added a few frozen willows. Adding a few more winter holiday trees. And added a few snowy frosted heights stone clusters. Trying to center the light in front of the pillar. Adding another stone cluster. And decided it was time to check how it was looking. Annoying that you can't get closer to the waterfall, and my frame idea doesn't work, since I can't get close enough. And I like the idea of using the magic moon weather setting, for the full moon. Plus I like that it turned the fireflies a blue-green color, trying the 4th filter to help mitigate some of the fog the magic moon setting creates. I wasn't sure about the filter, but I didn't like that you could barely see the palace. So, reluctantly scooting everything forward. Checking if that helped. Trying without a filter this time. That's feeling a little better, but I want to try evening out some of the items in the back. So, scooting things around, trying to get them a little more symmetrical. Trying to get closer to the waterfalls, checking how that's looking. That's feeling better, but I don't like that I can't see the waterfalls in the shot. So, trying them at a different angle to see if that helps. Still can't see them, but I like close-ups and it's now pushing the camera, so I guess I'll try that out. I don't mind that, but you can barely see the added light on the left, so I need to move them. adding more, scooting Anna's statue closer, adjusting the ice, and the snowball that was near her, adding more fireflies, checking how that's looking. That felt better. Debating poses. I liked the winter crystal wand, but I kinda wanted to use the flying pose, but I also wanted to keep my cape. So, to fly without wings, you need to save a version of your outfit with wings to your favorites. Put your cape or other back item on, equip the saved look, then hit undo to get your back item back. Checking how that looks. I like that, but I kinda want her looking up. So, to get her looking where I want, I turn my camera to make her look in that direction, and pause the animation. When I turn my camera back, she stays looking the other way. I liked that, but I wanted to add some snowflakes to the foreground. So, adding a few permafrost clouds. I also wanted to get some wind effects, so adding a couple rabbit leaf piles. Checking how that looks. I like that, but I want to adjust the wind and try adding another cloud further back. Checking if that's better. I don't like the added cloud. Getting rid of it, and adding some pixie dust to the foreground to test how that looks. And I like that the pixie dust gets a blue-green tint when using the Magic Moon setting. Adding more. Checking how that's looking. I liked that, but the foreground was feeling a bit dark, so I wanted to add some table chandeliers to brighten it up a bit. So, getting rid of the frozen waterfalls to make room, adding some square dining tables, and putting the chandelier of the deep on top of them. Grabbing the Vizier's alchemy table to push the camera closer now that the waterfalls were gone. Adding some more crystals, and some buttons for sparkles, and a little more pixie dust. Checking how that's looking. Too close, scooting the alchemy table back. Still too close. Pushing it a little further. Better, but you can't see the crystal that was supposed to be in the left foreground. So, scooting things around to fit it in closer. Scooting it a little. And I wanted to try lighting things up a bit by adding some Vitali lights behind them. So, scattering a bunch around. Checking if I like that. I don't mind the lights behind the crystal, but I'm not sure about everywhere else. So, getting rid of some and scooting others. Trying to move them behind the other crystals. Checking how that looks. I'm not really feeling the Vitali lights. Getting rid of them and swapping in some more pixie dust instead. Adding a little more in the foreground as well. And adding some more fireflies. Checking how that's looking. I liked that, but I wanted to scoot the left foreground crystal to match the placement of the one on the right. So, scooting things around to move it over a little. Added more ice. Checking how that's looking. Better, but I need to scoot the ice in the front over. Better, but I want to scoot the left middle crystal over as it was starting to feel out of place there. So, trying to move it, but the fireflies don't want to let me. Scooting it back, and the items that were near it. And adding more blue butterflies. Checking how that's looking. That felt better, but Anna's statue was feeling too dark back there, so I wanted to try moving it closer. And you couldn't even see Woody and Buzz's, so that needed to move too. So, moving them both. Checking if those spots are better. Anna's is feeling a little better, but Buzz is completely hidden, so they need to scoot. Scooting them over a bit. And I wanted to try and add some winter crystals. So I added a few small ones by the fountain, and scattered in a few spiky ones. Trying to get a better angle, adding a few more in the back. Checking how that's looking. Now you could just see Buzz and not Woody. Scooting it a bit more, and shifting some other things around. Trying to adjust the ice, or on a statue, but it doesn't want to let me. Finally got it, and scooted her closer. Checking how that's looking. I need to scoot the bush in front of Buzz and Woody's statue, so it's not blocking them. So, scooting things around, so they aren't blocked. Adding another blue star over there, checking how that's looking. That feels better, but it was feeling like it was a little empty on the left, so I wanted to try adding Elsa. Still getting used to the new villager controls, but turning visibility on and off to bring her over. Clicking it a few times to see if it'll put her somewhere else. Bringing in Kristoff to see if that affects her placement. Doesn't look like it. She does not want to move. So, changing my camera angle to see if that helps. Not really. So, switching to selfie mode and turning her visibility on and off. That brought her closer, so pausing her to see if I like her in that spot. Not bad. I would prefer her closer, but not bad. using selfie mode to get her to do her pose, and pausing her. I liked that, but I kinda wanted to add Anna to the other side. So, changing the camera angle to try and get her to show up closer. But it wasn't really working. Back into selfie mode, to pull her over. Checking if that's a good spot. Not quite. So, turning her on and off to get her to move around. Checking if that's better. She felt a little too far over, so I unpaused her placement, and paused her again before she got too far away. And she does not want to turn around. Switching back into selfie mode, checking if that's better. So that felt better, but I wanted to see what it would look like with some extra sparkles in the shot. So, to do that, I hid and unhid my avatar, taking the shot before they all disappeared. I liked that, but it was going to be challenging to time it with the wind effects. It took a bit, but I managed to catch them, and I'm pretty happy with how that came out. If you're curious, this snap took about 2 hours to do. Thank you for watching the video. Please like it if you found it at all helpful, and subscribe if you want to see more like this.